Difficulty might be the most subjective part of a game. Your prior experiences, mental and physical abilities, as well as your interest in a challenge will change how you perceive difficulty. That's why we're all wrong about Dark Souls. When Elden Ring released, there was this huge debate about how to play, what was the true Elden Ring experience, and if summoning was cheating or not. There was this expectation from certain fans that the game should be played a certain way. Telling people how to play a game is never the way to go. As a streamer, I know how annoying it is to have people ask you to take shortcuts or use specific strategies to beat particularly difficult sections. I don't feel like I personally need to get extra HP to win, because I feel like I might be good enough. But the thing that's interesting about Elden Ring is that because of its relation to From Software and the obvious Dark Souls connection, people had a hard time seeing the forest for the trees. My first playthrough, I used magic, summons, and the most overpowered spells. Yet I still struggled, almost quit in my first hour, and had generally just a bad time. Something about being teleported to a mid-game area with what I still believe to be the most annoying enemies in my first 20 minutes just wasn't really my thing. Telling me that my first playstyle was easy and I should just get good almost made me quit my Game of the Year of 2022. A lot of FromSoft fans couldn't see the potential, the build variety, and the fun there was to have because of their preconceived notions. The Souls series has for a long time been the series to exemplify difficulty in games. But the truth is, Dark Souls is not hard. You can tell yourself that, but that's also not the whole story. Celeste is the Dark Souls of 2D platforming. Hollow Knight is the Dark Souls of Metroidvanias. Fuck, Co-op is the Dark Souls of walking simulators. It doesn't make sense. Dark Souls has a very particular style of difficulty. Boiling it down to just being hard oversimplifies the requirements to beat the game. You have to get used to the fighting system, learn enemy patterns, and maybe most importantly, memorize the layout of the world. All of these things are hard, and in combination with each other creates a unique style of gameplay, and yet some people find it easy. Anything you're comfortable with, that you have practiced or have a natural affinity for, will be easier for you than for others. If you have a great memory and know the exact position of items in the overworld, have a great reaction time and can beat a boss first try, or have the patience to learn the enemy's moves before rushing in, you will have an easier time to play the Souls series. This, however, won't help you dash between platforms, aim true, or make moral decisions in a few seconds' time. Different genres present challenges in different ways, and depending on how you react to these challenges, you will perceive them differently. Furi presents its challenge with mystery and fast action. If you die, you get back up and into the fight right away. No walk back like in Dark Souls. No returning to the main menu like Mario 64. Hell, you barely lose any progress. If you lose a life point, both you and the boss returns to full HP, but you keep your lost life points. If you lose all of your life points, you have to start the fight all over. This, among other things, is why I love Furi. It doesn't punish you too badly for your mistakes. It's annoying enough having to beat down the health again that there is an immense tension when you're both on one strike from death. While dodging and finding the correct openings is tough, I don't personally find it hard to push through and try over and over again, because you get put straight back into the action, the goal. This is why I find Dark Souls hard. I don't really enjoy having to run 2 minutes and fight a bunch of enemies, just to get a chance to fight the boss who then kills me in 3 hits. While others find this as an engaging and personal challenge, I see it more like a waste of time. That keeps me from the actual fun gameplay. Learning the boss fights. So when Elden Ring allowed me to respawn right at the boss, I was hyped. And if the boss was too tough, I could find a hidden path and just not deal with them at that point. To me, the open world of Elden Ring is what got me hooked. The fact that there were things to do, areas to explore, and views to behold around every corner was exciting. The upgrade system allows the player to explore dungeons without the worry of wasting time. Sure, it's not always fun to get yet another spirit ash that you won't use, or a weapon that doesn't fit with your build at all, but the runes and upgrade materials you pick up make your efforts worth the exploration. Being able to deal with a difficult task in different ways is a great way for a developer to help a player through a challenge. Die too fast? Get more hit points. Dealing too little damage? Use bleed. Having a hard time recognizing an attack? Use spirit ashes. The fact that there are multiple ways for you to increase your strength at any point in the game is what makes Elden Ring accessible to a wider audience. If I get stuck in Dark Souls, I have two options. Stumble around for hours trying to find a way to get stronger, or use a guide. Now, I realize it's an over-exaggeration, but I've got myself de facto soft-locked because of my want of exploration in the Souls series. While this is nothing but my own fault, I still can't help but to feel that there are ways to stop this from happening. In a weird way, Dark Souls' world connects in a similar way to Metroidvania's, with the exception that you end with the same movement abilities you started with. Shortcuts are a great way to make a world feel large, and the Souls series is a masterclass in this. However, I feel like they didn't exactly take it far enough, at least at the start. In a Metroidvania like Ori or Hollow Knight, you will find many branching paths. Yet, there is a sense of direction. Certain areas are locked away, either behind keys, abilities, or story beats, and this is what I personally think Dark Souls is lacking in the early game. Shortcuts shorten the time between areas, but in Metroidvanias, your new abilities makes going back to previous areas not only fun and refreshing, but also faster beyond the usage of shortcuts. In Dark Souls, the paths that are open usually lead to some kind of item, new area, or boss fight. It's exciting, thrilling, and a bit scary to explore these paths, as you don't want to lose progress or get caught off guard. My personal main issue with these branching paths in the early game is that they are almost too enticing. The branching paths that lead to shortcuts that you can't use yet, enemies that you can't take on at the moment, or even just the dead ends do hurt the experience in my opinion. If I say that Dark Souls is linear, you know that that's wrong. There are many branching paths, a Souls fan cried. You can fight the bosses in many different orders, another chimed in. While this is technically correct, there is an obvious set path for a new player to follow, which is supposed to take you in a certain route along the game. It's the same with Breath of the Wild. While yes, technically you can defeat the divine beasts in any order, most people's first playthrough starts with them going to Kakariko Village, to Vah Ruta, Redania, Meadow, and then lastly Naboris. Despite being an open world, there is always a sense of direction, a landmark to reach, and a goal that clearly fits into the overarching story. For me, a sense of direction, whether it's a small goal, a personal challenge, or a new area to reach, enhances the experience a lot. Feeling like I'm making progress is so important to me, and in Dark Souls, killing bosses is fun, but sometimes it's hard to connect a boss to the sense of direction. It's not really until Quelaag where I feel like the bosses give me a sense of direction. But that's at least a few hours in for a new player. And at that point, you're probably strong enough that the runbacks aren't a problem anymore and you have more confidence when exploring. But up until then, I keep feeling like I just stumble across new bosses when wandering around. What helps Breath of the Wild for me is the fact that it allows me to take my own path, to get to the same goal, and my exploration is often rewarded with Korok seeds or spirit orbs that allow me to get stronger. As you get through the game, your goal narrows down, and you might start to hyper-focus on Ganon. The game funnels you in a seamless way to the final boss. Having such freedom, and yet feeling compelled to do exactly what the game wants me to do, is an extreme feat for the developers. And this is something I never felt with Dark Souls. I found it hard to do what the game wanted me to do, because there were so many interesting routes to take and places to explore. I'd die, get an item I won't use, barely get any soul to level up. It kinda made exploration feel meaningless. What's the point of having runbacks, intriguing paths, and amazing design if it doesn't lead to anything? Had I been forced to fight specific bosses, get used to the controls, and become more confident in my abilities before being presented with these areas to explore, maybe I'd feel less overwhelmed. Okay, here's the kicker. Dark Souls is all about the journey. I know, crazy. Dark Souls is a journey about perseverance, and I guess anything that is difficult revolves around perseverance. Celeste has been a favorite of mine for a while. The game is hard. Every level introduces new mechanics and combines them to turn this precision platformer into a puzzle. If you take the time to interact with the story, you'll realize that the journey Madeline is on is just as hard for her as it is for you. In the Walking Dead series, your choices impact who lives and dies. It's one thing having to choose between saving two people you barely know, but when you have to choose to kill or spare someone who you love, it can be an incredibly emotional and difficult task. Despite the emotional pain, you have to persevere if you want to survive. When playing an online game, sometimes it's hard to win. Skill, synergy, and mindsets will impact your win chance. You might rage, uninstall, or install cheats, but the players we remember are the ones who put in the time, effort, and live the game. The players we remember are the ones who persevere and get good. Dark Souls is not hard because of the enemies. It's not hard because of the world design, or because it's overwhelming. It's hard by design, to reward those who persevere, and I respect that wholeheartedly. If you persevered through this video, then why not leave a like, or subscribe for more videos like this. My name's Turtlekun. Eat well, sleep well, and I'll see you in the next video.